guys, welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to show you guys how to turn this book purse into this. Stay tuned, guys. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So glad you guys are here. If you are able to like and subscribe this video, that would be amazing. So today I'm hoping to do a really cool DIY and I'm hoping that it goes well. We'll see, because this is like the before of this. But I am hoping to do a book purse that I printed on Artscow and turn it into a nice gold embellishment. Wherever the yellow hits here, I was hoping to embellish this with gold to make it kind of look like a nice, really pretty old purse. I think that's going to look really, really nice. So I'm just going to show you the really cool DIY that I did, and it's going to be fairly quick, I think, but I really hope that you guys enjoy it. So stick around if you like DIYs like this. So this looks like it's going to be an extremely easy DIY to do, just based on materials that I'm using alone. It looks very simple, but I think it's actually going to be extremely complicated, obviously, because I'm going to have to be very, very careful when I'm painting everything to make, you know, things like leaves and whatnot. I'm going to try to make it look almost like a gold foil and as pretty as possible. So I really like how it is, how it looks now. But I just feel like that little pop of metallic is going to make it look so much nicer. This is fabric block printing ink, and it should set within, it says it cures 1 week at room temperature, and cold water and mild soap is preferred when laundering. So I'm not going to try to wash these all that often anyways, so that should be perfectly fine. This is the first time I'm using this. Normally people use stuff like this for block printing, but I'm going to just use it by painting on with fine detailed brushes. So this should be really kind of a fun DIY to do, I think. Okay, so if you want to, feel free to get some sort of pan or pie plate or container to put stuff like this in. I'm just going to show you how I'm going to delicately do this. So it's always good to have some sort of yellow background or something along those lines if you're going to be doing like a metallic color. So if I was going to do this in silver, maybe I would do like a gray background. And I'm just going to lay this as flat as I possibly can, trying to limit the brush strokes too. I'm going to try to be as careful as possible. This is what I have so far. It's I haven't gone too far. I wanted to keep this wet because it felt like it was drying quite swiftly while being in here. So if you go outside the line, guys, try not to, obviously, which is sometimes difficult for some people. It's easier to go outside the lines, but with a project like this, I find you kind of want to sort of stay as steady as you possibly can. And I went outside the lines a few times, but I tried to just sort of scrape off the paint with my nail as much as I could so that it didn't go too far. So it's not easy to do sometimes. This kind of material that because this is an Artscow purse, it's kind of like a vinyl, so it's actually really very water resistant. I don't like leather. I'm actually a vegetarian, so I don't really like getting leather purses. So this vinyl works really well in all sorts of weather conditions, I find. Again, I would say wait for this to cure at least a week before you take this out into some sort of rainy weather or something along those lines, or if you decide to wash it. But I do recommend doing very delicate strokes. This might take quite a while to do. Try not to get your hand in the paint. It will stick to the fabric, so if you can, try to get the paint off as swiftly as you can while it's still wet and let it dry. Be very careful. It's very difficult sometimes when this stuff is still wet, but again, it can clump on really easily. I've switched brushes. This is a 20/0 Nobel. It's like one of these kind of brushes. It's very delicate. It's meant for miniatures and very fine detailed work. So I'm going to use this guy. It's one of the smaller brushes that I own on the fine details of the bridle. So again, this is very clumpy paint. You might, if you can get away with doing like a metallic fabric marker, this actually might be better for something like that. But I'm kind of crazy. I'm trying out a new kind of material, and this, I mean, some markers you don't have to iron set it, which is nice. This one, it's nice too because I don't think I have to iron set this. It just cures within a week or so, as I said earlier. So try to be very, very delicate with it as much as you possibly can. Accidents can definitely happen when you're doing delicate work. You're probably going to notice the stuff more than anybody else, because artists always notice their mistakes or their flaws more so than anybody else. If you can get past that perfectionism state, which is very difficult to do for most people or artists, you know, just do what you can, right? So I'm just trying to put as little paint as possible on my brush, and just dipping quite frequently actually, because it does dry up very fast, in order to make this as delicate a line as possible. This is the easiest way to control a line. There are other brushes out there for line work, but if you're going to do something as delicate as this, I do recommend getting something as tiny as this kind of brush. And hopefully that'll help. So that's basically doing the bridle. I've started doing the grass over here. Finished the bridle and the eye, and I think it turned out pretty well. There's a little bit of metallic kind of seeping over here, which wasn't really easy to deal with, but I sort of scraped a bit of it off. You could sort of see it a little bit, but it's not too bad. I think I can ignore it. I'm sure most people won't notice it unless I point it out like I just did. Anyways, so I'm just basically trying to mimic this side. I can be a little bit freer with this because it's just more grass and stuff. I did do like a mirror image of this, so it's a little more balanced. So I'm gonna try to still be somewhat careful on this side, but because it's grass and it looks like it's flowing, I'm not going to be as careful as, say, something like the bridle, because that's probably one of the most delicate parts that I had to overcome here. I'm just basically still going here, trying not to put too much on my brush, and trying to sort of mimic or trace, I guess, the lines that I've already created here. So if you notice, I've done most of the flower blossoms or buds. It's really coming along, and yeah, it's starting to look like foil, which is really cool. I'm really liking it a lot so far. It's very annoying work because of the ink that I've chosen. I don't really recommend it. It's very sticky. When you're working with it like this, which is not its intended purpose because it's an ink, it's supposed to be sort of rolled on for block printing and then transferred and pressed down. So this is not the intended purpose of the actual ink itself. I just figured this will probably be kind of like almost like a silk screen, and hopefully will last a lot longer once it's cured. A lot of silk screening ink for fabric, you tend to iron it. I didn't want to iron this at all, but yeah, I did want it to have a very shiny effect, so that's kind of what it's giving me. It's going to be a lot easier for a lot of people to get a very highly pigmented metallic fabric pen or marker, especially for fine delicate work like these branches or these stems. So I do recommend that in the future. I am washing these brushes with soap and water for this ink, and then wiping it off on some paper towel when it gets really, really dry. If that helps you guys, I just figured I'd divulge that information. Anyways, coming along, looks really great. It's actually kind of how I wanted it to look all the way along, and yeah, it's really, really exciting. So I'm pretty much almost done. There's just like a few touches here and there that I'm doing. I'm actually watering down the ink quite a bit, which Makes it a little easier for this to flow. It doesn't dry up as easily. It can be a little easier to get wider lines, which is kind of annoying, but it also gives it more of a human touch, which I think is kind of nice. I like hand-painted things, so I want to know that a human did it. Not everybody feels that way, I'm sure, but that's kind of a thought of mine, so I just figured I'm not the only one, maybe. But yeah, I'm just putting the last finishing touches here and there. Yeah, this is the last final thing here. Just want to make sure I metallicize all the things that I need to here. This is definitely not an easy project. I tried to make it very similar to this side, mirroring it, but again, it's going to be, they're both going to be different because they have a hand-touched feel to it. Just going to try to do a few touch-ups here and there, like up here. Where I feel the green is kind of showing through a little bit. But yeah, this is the purse cover. I think it really looks quite cool. Again, it looks very hand done, which is nice. Some people like it, some people don't, whatever, that's okay. But I really think that it's gonna shimmer nicely, which is kind of what I want. It's a little shinier than it was before. When certain light hits it, it's quite nice. So it does look a little more book-like, which I like. That's kind of the purpose of this. So I'll show you what it looks like on. Hey guys, I hope you liked that DIY. Now for the riveting conclusion. So this is how the purse looks now. You can sort of see it. It sort of hits the light nicely. You can sort of see a bit of shimmer, but it's not like sparkly, so it's not gonna have like major shimmer happening. But it definitely looks like it's been gold foiled. I think it turned out really nice. I really like it a lot. And I did have some frustrations, obviously. I kind of took it in stride, but I feel like some people might be stressed out if they tried this exact same technique with that particular ink. It is an oil-based ink for those of you who are not aware and want to try it. It does wash up quite well though. I did have to add some water to it because it was clumping quite frequently while I was trying to do the delicate fine detail. So not the best product for delicate fine detail, unfortunately, but it did the trick. I really do like the end result. It might have been a lot easier to accomplish with maybe a metallic either fabric marker or some sort of fabric ink or fabric pen, something like that. So this has been drying for about a week, so it is dry to the touch. I'm not getting any gold on my fingers, which is a bonus. It's not smudging anywhere. I'm probably gonna give it a little bit more time before I actually wear it out and about and stuff, but yeah, it does set within a week, and I would say give it a week because the drying time is extremely slow with this if you decide to do something similar. It's great because you don't have to iron set it, so that's the nice bonus about something like this. This is like an interesting vinyl material, so I don't know how well it would take to an iron, if it would melt a little bit. At least it dries to the touch, that's the main thing. If you have a bit of patience and a bit of time on your hands, then this project is pretty fun if you don't mind setting it out for like a week or so just to dry somewhere. It's not too bad, but anyways. And it really goes nicely with this dress that I got. I made it the same kind of dresses that I've been sort of doing videos on. It's a pocketed dress, and this is actually my first pocketed dress that I purchased from Artscow, and I really like it. It's got a horseshoe pattern on it, which I thought was kind of nice. I really love it. I really think that it looks like an old book which is really nice, and that's basically what I was going for. I love this DIY. I thought it was a lot of fun. Anyways, guys, if you really like this video, definitely I would suggest liking and subscribing. Also, if you could share the video, that would be awesome, especially if you think somebody else is going to enjoy this sort of video, this kind of DIY. Really hope that you guys have a fantastic day, and take care. Have a good one, guys. Bye!